Hey, what's going on all you Cold War pilots out there? It is I, Tricker, and today we're going to be going over something very important, and it is about IFF, or Identify Friend or Foe. So recently I was watching a stream on Twitch by Tempest and Enigma, and they were going over the stats of their server, and I found something mildly disturbing, and that's what this video is going to be about. So sit back and relax and enjoy this ultimate IFF guide for Cold War pilots. So again, this is on the recent survey that was on Twitch, and I'll link the Twitch VOD in the description below. And some of the stats on here were actually really surprising, and one of the main things I want to take away from this is the team killing that is going on. So here is the stat sheet that was provided by Enigma, and as you can see here, friendly fires, blue has 3,320 and red has 2,054, and that's 153 friendly fires per day in this time frame that they were collecting stats from April 5th to May 10th. Now these numbers are ridiculous. There shouldn't be this many team kills going on. So I understand if there's accidents or there's new players to the server, there's always new players coming to the server, which is great. And this is why I wanted to provide a IFF guide. And basically we're going to go over what aircraft each side has and some telltale signs of, hey, this is a friendly or an enemy. So some pro tips: always identify the aircraft you're following. If there's a friendly that's behind an enemy, make sure you don't fire unless you have a clear shot, because most of the time it's a heat-seeking missile. It's going to find the friendly instead of the enemy. Also, if there's a human GCI on, you can always ask and say, hey, please declare off my nose, to make sure it's an enemy, not a friendly. Also, you have the Overlord bot, which you can ask for a bogey dope and make sure you're not merged with an enemy. And also, the last thing you can do is wait patiently. I know it's going to be hard in a dogfight and you're excited to get a missile off, but wait patiently, identify the target, make sure it's enemy first before you fire. So some quick tips to help identify an aircraft is the wing shape, the silhouette of the aircraft. You can also tell by the flare pattern and also some of the weapons it carries. Most aircraft have different guns as well as different missiles. So before we get into the video, let's go into the favorite aircraft of the server, which was actually pretty surprising to me. I thought the F5 would be up there, but the MiG-21 actually, almost 22%. And so we're definitely going to be focusing on the MiG-21 and the F5. The differences between the two, because these are the most popular aircraft on the server at the moment. All right, so let's get into it and start with all the blue aircraft. So first up is the Viggen. Now this is an easy aircraft to identify. The main things that give this plane away is the wings and also the canards up front. And if you're in a BFM fight with this aircraft, you can definitely tell by the wings and the canards up front. Very identifiable. The last thing you want to talk about for the Viggen is the flare pattern. You can always tell it's a Viggen by this distinct flare pattern. So next is the F5 Tiger II, my favorite aircraft for the Cold War server and also the most popular blue aircraft for the Cold War server. Here's what the F5 will look like when you're turning with it. You can definitely tell by those short stubby wings. The F5 flare pattern is also distinctive. You could do single flares or also multiple single flares. This is exactly what the F5 flare pattern looks like. Also, if you see this yellow shotgun tracer look, this is also identifiable for the F5. Next is the F-14 Tomcat, and this is an iconic aircraft from Top Gun. Obviously, everybody knows what this aircraft is, but I still have been mistaken for a Fulcrum. So here's that F-14 from the outside, and you can definitely tell with that flare pattern and also the wings. The wings are so distinctive because they're adjustable. It's just a sexy aircraft. I don't know why anybody would want to shoot this down, especially a friendly, but it happens, so... Next up is the A-10A Warthog. It's a beast. It's fat, it's ugly, it's slow. Sounds pretty bad, but this thing packs a punch. So here's the A-10. You can tell by that straight wing. You got the twin vertical stabs in the back, and you can also tell the engines are mounted on top of the aircraft. The A-10 has a unique flare pattern. You can tell by the pair of flares going under the aircraft. Next up is the F-86 Sabre, and you can definitely tell it's a Sabre by those identifiable wings. Here's the F-86 in a turn. You can tell by those wings, and here's those 50 cals. It has 6 of those bad boys, so you'll be seeing 6 red tracers coming out of the nose of the aircraft. Next up is the C-101, and I always have a hard time figuring out this one and the L-39. The main difference is the cockpit as well as the wingtips for the L-39, so that's the main differences here. So let's shake things up and go to the red side. We have the L-39 Albatros, and again, it looks just like the C-101 kind of. The cockpit's a little bit different as well as the wings. Again, here's the side profile, and you can definitely tell with those wingtips that this is an L-39 and not a C-101. Next up is the MiG-29 Fulcrum, and you can definitely tell it has a twin tail, swept back wings, but this does not look like a Tomcat. When I'm trying to identify this aircraft, I'm always looking at the wing, and you can always tell it's a Fulcrum by this unique flare pattern here where the flares go up in the sky, as well as when the aircraft comes out of burner, you can see a heavy black smoke. Next up is the shiny MiG-19 Farmer. This thing has the most unique wing in the game. Again, you can tell this is a MiG-19 by those wings, extremely swept back. It also has extremely strong cannons, and you can see a red tracer coming out of these cannons. Just look at that thing. Next, we got the famous MiG-21, the most popular red aircraft and the most popular aircraft in the whole entire Enigma Cold War server. MiG-21 is a cigar-shaped looking aircraft with short, stubby, delta-shaped wings, and this flare pattern right here is unique to the MiG-21 aircraft. Next, we got the short, stubby MiG-15, and when I'm always flying the MiG-15, 19, and 21, I'm always in a red aircraft to help me get out to everybody, hey, I'm red, I'm Soviet, but still it doesn't always work. But the MiG-15, here it is, short, stubby aircraft, you can tell by the wings, and also the tail. That's the difference between an F-86 and the MiG-15. Last but not least, we have the Su-25 Frogfoot, the ground attack aircraft of the red side. The Su-25 is a unique airframe, but the wings definitely give the Su-25 away from the distance. The Su-25 has a unique flare pattern. Just like the MiG-29, it has two flares that pop straight up in the air. And this is definitely how you tell it's an Su-25 compared against other aircraft like the MiG-21. So I hope this guide helps you identify and reduce team kills and gives you some quick tips on what to look for when you are merging with aircraft within visual range. Thanks for all watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.